If you want to learn 3dsMax completely with V-Ray 6, Tyflow, character animation, After Effects, Phoenix FD Fire and liquid simulations, you can go ahead and take my course. Hello everyone, in this video I am going to teach you how to create a rope animation with the help of Tyflow. So for the collider we are going to use the torus node. Our rope is going to collide with this torus node. As we know, it's a complex object, so we can fix the collision issues with it. So I will teach you how to fix the collision issues. Okay, so in order to create a rope, you can use any line, any object, any spline you want. So I'm going to use the helix like this. Okay, move it to the top. Okay, increase the number of turns. Now go to create and create a Tyflow like this. Click on open editor. Let's start creating a rope. So what we are going to do, we are going to use birth spline. In the birth spline, pick the spline and you will see the objects. This one is here, so we have to decrease the percentage. Like this. Let's change the color so that we can see it properly. So we have created particles on the splines. Okay, so now the next thing we have to do, we have to combine these splines. We have to join these particles together. So to do that, we are going to use particle physics, and then we are going to use particle bind. Particle bind operator will bind these particles together. Okay, when you run the simulation, you can see there is nothing much going on here. Don't worry about it. Now if we have to create a gravity. So to create a gravity, use the force operator. Change the strength to -0.1 so that the direction of the gravity is downward. You can see. Now we can see that all of the particles are going through the plane. We have to create a ground. So to create a ground, we are going to use the collision operator and click on enable ground collider. So ground collider is created. Okay, now we have to work on this particle bind operator. So we don't want proximity bind. So what is proximity bind? Proximity bind will bind the particles based on proximation. So this first particle can be bind with this sixth particle. So we don't want this. So turn this off and click on family bind and click on bind to sibling. So now all of these particles are bind together because they are siblings to each other. So we have to decrease the radius here like this. Decrease the radius of the particle physics and you can see these are together. Okay, let's decrease the upper radius of the helix so that our particles can collide with the torus node like this. Okay, so for the torus node we have to use another collision operator. We can't use the ground one, so add another collision operator. Pick the torus node. Okay, now we have to use the spline path to convert these particles into a rope. Spline path operator, click on siblings and click on create new. And now all of the particles are converted into spline. So select the tie spline operator here. This one is the tie spline. Click on it and click on this button to enable the mesh in the viewport. Now you can see tie spline mesh in the viewport. Now the reason we are seeing these artifacts is that we have to decrease the radius of the particle physics more. So change it to 0.5. Okay, so now after selecting die spline, you can change the radius. So let's give it the radius of 1, and then click on the die spline here, and then from there click on weld binding and weld nodes. So now you can see our splines are interacting with the object. Okay, it's good. Let's unhide the particles. So this is how it looks like. You can see that the spline these particles are going through our object. So to fix this, one thing we can do is to increase the absolute radius, or the second thing we can do is to select the Tyflow and increase the time steps to a higher value, and then go to particle bind solver and increase the steps to 20. And if you run the simulation again, you can see that particles are completely interacting with our object. Okay, let's create a sphere and pick this sphere. And you can see the result. Again, if you want to get rid of these artifacts, you have to decrease the particle physics radius to a lower value. So go ahead and play with the rope. You can use any object you want. You can increase the amount of the rope. To do that, select the spline, actual spline. This is the helix, and increase the number of turns, and then run the simulation. So in this way you can create rope animation in Tyflow. Thank you for watching. So this is my channel, Zeon Horizon. I upload lot of videos on Tyflow, 3DsMax and Phoenix FD. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of content for you to learn and inspire from.